my primary client is $500,000 to $5 million company, and helping them make an extra mil, 2 mil, 3 mil does impact lives. It does help them. It does help that community. It helps hire more people. But the feeling you get from helping somebody just make an extra $1,000 a month that like changes their fucking life, wildly different feeling.
Welcome back to the High Ticket Systems podcast. Everyone, please welcome the one and only Mr. Bryce Vance. Bryce, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, yes, sir. You and I were having a pretty solid chit chat before we hit record here. Hopefully, the energy continues. I definitely think it will. But for everyone that does not know the name of the brand just yet, can you please explain to us basically what you guys do and who it serves best?
Well, we've got a couple brands. I've never been particularly good at building my own brand, ironically. I'm very good at helping other companies, primarily home services, professional services, e-com retailer agency space, develop theirs. So my first company in this space I launched about 10 years ago called Funnel Driven. We go by Driven ROI or Driven Media. And we started originally as like your out-of-the-box agency, right? Coming up in the time when like Brunson was first getting really popular with ClickFunnels, when Instapage was still big, before Infusionsoft became marked as Confusionsoft, like that time frame. So we did funnels, media buying, and like general agency services. That kind of was a pivot point for me because I got into the space originally out of need. Like my first couple companies I started after college and high school, and I don't come from money, so like I was too poor to hire an agency, quite frankly. So I got really good at it, doing it for myself, and worked for a couple companies, Funnel Wholesale being one of them, and then a company out of Salt Lake called Social Paragon I worked for a little while. And that kind of got me into the space, and I hated the space. I was like, it's dumb that agencies force you into a 1 to 2 year contract. It's dumb that it costs a mortgage on a house to be able to do anything. It's dumb that it's not accessible. And I was like, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it different. So I started Funnel Driven, and we did pretty good first year. I mean, first sale was made in like 24 hours after filing the company.
Wow.
We helped with like insurance and mortgage, and like that's all we did for a little while. And that developed into eventually 4 brands, and over the course of about the last 10 years, and kind of took me on my own journey, ups, downs, and sideways all included, and kind of started who I've become. I've written 2 books since then about it. Had the honor of being published with several other authors in several other books. Caesar's book for one of them, and it's been a wild journey, man.
That's super badass. Out of the 4 brands that you have, which one would you say takes most of your attention or most of your time?
Well, they all kind of work together.
Okay.
So the way that we've kind of structured is probably a little unique to our space, but not unique to business. So the way that I like to explain it is like, insurance companies, right? Like Progressive. So you've got Progressive Insurance, Progressive Auto, Progressive Home, Progressive Commercial, Progressive Financial Services, Progressive Retirement, like subcategories, child brands. That's kind of how we've structured. So we've got Driven, which is my primary brand, our core company that does elevation, AI implementation, digital marketing, specifically for brands that are 500K and up. There is kind of our core market for home services and professional services. And we don't do enterprise stuff. We try to stay out of corporate America as much as we can.
Right.
Not that we haven't worked with them. Like our biggest client was Netflix. We did some like heat mapping and some UI stuff with them years ago. But corporate is less fun, quite frankly. And in that, our child or sister companies are supportive agencies for it. So like we've got Chimera Marketing that does our low ticket entry marketing and agency services. We've got Chimera Developments, which is our app and web development firm. And then we've got the Inbound Secret, which does our application, SaaS, and our coaching division. And in that, we just launched our new division, which is SBA, Strategic Business Acquisitions, where we actually help off-market deals for M&A, so buy or sell. And we've kind of created our own sub-market in that because we're not a brokerage. We partnered with a real good friend of mine, Gallant, who's the master in that space as far as I'm concerned. And he's been kind of guiding our hand on the M&A side of things.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thanks for the context. So essentially, I imagine whenever you are speaking with a prospect,
Mm-hmm.
you go through the analysis process, the diagnosis process. You understand their needs, their wants, desires, etc. And then depending on where they're at financially, and what makes the most sense for them scaling up the company is essentially the company that would work with them, like the services that you would provide, whether it's a website, low ticket marketing services, or I guess the coaching and consulting side of things. Is that kind of how that would work?
A little bit, but we do things a bit different. So any client of Driven's uh, gets full support from all of our brands. So let's say that you owned a HVAC business, right? And you were either starting out or trying to gain market share in a new territory or for a new service offering. And you applied for one of our programs, or you got referred to us because we are at core a referral based company, even though we practice what we preach and do a lot of outreach and inbound marketing. We would, rather than doing the like discovery call, strategy session, audit where we sell you an audit and go through that whole rigmarole, we've kind of flipped the script. So we still do all of that back end work that any agency would do discovery, do audit, do programmatics, do market research, do R&D. But our very first call would be what we call a demo call, where we go over your current presence, your bottlenecks, your missing elements, where we can take you, and we actually showcase you basically a full stack development and marketing plan and executive execution plan on that call. So we don't show up empty handed ever. And then any Driven client gets the full support of our sister child companies. So you do weekly coaching sessions with me, monthly, quarterly calls with us. We do ROAS review and ROI review. And then Chimera handles any development aspects. So, like if we have to develop AI tools or infrastructure or LLM implementation, Chimera handles that on the back end for Driven clients. The only time we segregate is if it's going to be either low ticket, meaning that it's something that Funnel Driven can't support because you're too small for its market capability, and then we refer you over to Chimera, because entry point at Chimera is like $250, right? It's real low ticket. It's designed for like the solopreneur, or if you're looking to sell your company or buy a company, and then we help you under the SBA.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thanks for the context there. When you are working with, let's just say, an HVAC company and you're on this demo call, do you customize that proposal or customize that demo based on an HVAC company versus roofing versus an insurance company? Or is not the process, but what you're showing them like templated? And it's okay if it is, but just out of curiosity.
So we don't like templates, but templates are part of the process, and that might confuse some people. So
Like
the
fill in the blanks, basically.
not exactly. So we've started using Lovable, Replit, and Claude Code to help facilitate customized best practice modeled demos. So when we do those, we don't even do a proposal on the demo call. Proposal happens after that, at the end of that call, if it makes sense, and only if it makes sense.
Right.
The purpose of the demo call is really to do three things. One, showcase where you're at so that they have a deep understanding of kind of their current standpoint, right? The second, and this is something that's kind of been an evolution to us that quite honestly, I think every company should do because it's terrifying where our industry is at. We're a compliance and legal regulatory first development firm, meaning that you cannot buy a website from us, regardless of how much money you have, unless we provide all of the compliance and regulatory requirements with that website. That means your site has to be ADA compliant, privacy compliant, COPA compliant, GDRP compliant, Meta and Google compliant. It has to be GDRP if you have any EU association. It has to be compliant or we won't touch your account. And the primary reason for that, I'll read you a statistic that we found out about 2 weeks ago that scared the shit out of me. 70 to 90% of agencies, marketing and web development agencies, launch sites that are not ADA accessibility compliant. 60 to 85% of our competitors launch sites with privacy, compliance gaps, missing or weak privacy policies, cookie consent issues, tracking disclosure issues, data handling or security gaps, terms or consent logging. And 40 to 70% typically launch sites that have both accessibility or privacy exposure for client developments. We refuse to be part of that statistic. So we showcase that on the demo, right? Like, not only are you looking to generate more leads, make market penetration, have a better customer experience, have better sales, have better returns, but you need to make sure you're protected. Like you can't just go out in today's world and say whatever the hell you want and not have a risk, right? And then the third and most important thing is really just to distinguish us that we're different. You, as a business owner, especially in home services, probably get hit up by a marketing or lead development or social agency or some kind of marketer 5 times a day, right? We don't want to just be another like nail in that coffin for your life. We want to be a company you choose to work with. And the best way for us to do that is to show up different than anybody else.
I completely agree with what you're saying on that last part there. So we essentially do outbound emails and outbound LinkedIn on behalf of clients and of course internally. Two things that kind of separates us from the sea of emails or LinkedIn messages is like true personalization, where the prospect would read it, it's like, how the hell do they know that? That's really good. The second thing that kind of separates us is opposed to asking for time as the call to action, we say, hey, here's this free personalized lead magnet that
Yeah.
if you take action on it, you'll get results type shit. And again, it's for free. So with those two right there, that's essentially how we separate ourselves from the
Yeah.
sea of other agencies. But what you're saying with your demo makes total sense. If you are showcasing how the statistics that you just rattled off there, first off, I had no fucking idea that those were even a thing, right? But by you walking the prospect through that, immediately, this guy knows his shit. He's clearly the expert. I have to learn more, you know? Um, so I think, I guess, how you differentiate yourself. One of my old mentors told me this, but he's like, look at just what everybody else is saying and just don't say that. Like, it broke it down really simply, but I guess we kind of get caught up in, oh, this company's saying this, it must work, so I'm going to say it too. I mean, that can work to an extent, but if you truly want to get past where their revenue range is or their level of success, you got to be different. So,
Well,
interesting.
and it opens up like I'm a big core beliefs guy, right? Like I've got non-negotiables. I shut this company down twice in the last 10 years because we were no longer aligned with like my core beliefs and what I enjoyed doing, and I had to get it back, right? Like I had to do the internal work and the self work to kind of get back to where I believe the company should be and how we need to present ourselves. And that's not fun, right?
I smile because nobody fucking talks about that shit.
It wasn't fun, but it needed to happen, and it needed to happen more than once, right? You get into this position, especially in our industry, where like you have a choice that you have to make. Do you want to truly serve your market and your clients for the betterment of them and the industry as a whole, or do you just want to make money, right? And I fell in the trap several times of like, if I can do it and I can make money, why the hell not? Right?
Especially when you come from not a lot of money.
When you come from nothing, you're like, fuck yeah, I'll do it for 10 grand, right? Wrong choice. Every time I've made that decision, wrong choice. Right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But it's a lesson that you have to learn, and I had to learn it the hard way. And because of who I am and my ADHD, I tend to learn lessons the hard way, right? So it wasn't just a one-time event. It was twice in my career so far. But in that trajectory of like differentiation and being different, one of the things that several of my coaches and mentors over the years have kind of beaten into me, for the lack of a better term, is if you want to be paid as the exception, meaning you you earn more, you deliver more, you provide more value, then you have to be willing to do what others won't. You have to become the exception. And others aren't willing to give out everything they do for free, right?
Mm.
Like, you can hop on a consult with me and I'll tell you every fucking in and out. I'll give you my SOPs. I'll show you how we do development. What I'm selling isn't something you can't do as an individual, right? Like, you as an HVAC owner can build your own website. You can build your own AI tools. You can leverage your own hierarchical systems. You can do your own SEO. You can run your own Facebook and Google ads. That's not why you hire me. You hire me because of track record, history, and customer support and speed.
Yes.
Those are the reasons you hire me. Because you don't have time to do it yourself, nor do you probably have interest in doing it yourself, right?
Exactly.
I use because we work with home services a lot, so I use like the home building analogy a lot. Like, you could build your own fucking house. Every Home Depot and Lowe's on the planet will sell you everything you need to build your own house. Do you want to? Probably not.
No, absolutely. I cannot agree with you more when it comes to, you pay me for two reasons. One, track record or expertise. I've done this shit before. Second reason is speed. I think Alex Hormozy said this. A lot of other mentors probably said this as well. But when you're broke, you pay for it in time.
Yeah.
When you have money, you pay for it with money.
Yeah.
Because you don't have time, right? It's kind of like the inverse effect there. And I kind of say similar things on my demos or sales consults as well. It's like, yeah, dude, by all means, you can do this, but it's going to take you 6 months. You want to pay me now and get results next month, or wait 6 months, trial and error, and hope you have it figured out. So definitely agree with you there. Out of the three things that you specialize in, right, with the low ticket marketing services, the app development and web development, and the consulting coaching aspect, which one gets you fired up? And I know I missed the M&A, but we'll just use these three.
Oddly enough, none of those are what I would say get me fired up the most.
Really?
Yeah. I get fired up for all of them. I love what I do, right? I'm blessed to be able to say that. And I have the most fun probably with custom development, AI development, web development, or app development. I have the most fun because they're the creative aspect, and even when we sell a client, like, we're not selling them and then taking over. Like, it's a collaborative development. That's the point, right? And that's a ton of fun to do. What I get fired up the most about is a program I haven't even fully launched yet. And a program that I've been sitting on for, since 2019, 2020. And I just launched the book about 6 months ago. It's called Thoughts to Profits. And I launched that program as a one-on-one coaching program through the Inbound Secret about 2 years ago, just as like a test market to see how I liked it. But I pulled it down to redevelop it because something just wasn't right. And let me give you a little background on it. So when COVID started, I was part of an organization that I co-founded with Trey Carmichael and a group of entrepreneurs and partners at the time called Virtually Limitless. And we still work together now, but Virtually Limitless is no longer a brand that we associate with or promote. That's gone the wayside. And right when COVID started, when Clubhouse was popping off, we did a social media challenge, primarily on Clubhouse and on Facebook, called Reclaim Your Life. And we did it as a social engineered challenge, so a 5-day challenge. And on that challenge, we had a ton of people that engaged, did the free elements, did the challenge. But at the end of it, after about a month review after that time frame, we had 12 people that went through and actually took action on everything we taught in that challenge. And those 12 people that completed it were able to generate enough MRR, or trajectory of MRR, in 30 days to replace their income entirely. They were several of them, if I remember correctly, I talked to 7 of them, quit their job to go full time on what was essentially a side hustle that was nothing more than an idea 45 days ago, right? And the people that did this were stay-at-home moms. They were brothers taking care of their siblings. They were single dads. They were people like me when I grew up with a single father that didn't have money, didn't have opportunity, had that broke mindset of like, fuck, right? And that burrowed in my brain, And like my primary client is a $500,000 to $5 million company, right? And helping them make an extra mil, 2 mil, 3 mil does impact lives. It does help them. It does help that community. It helps hire more people. But the feeling you get from helping somebody just make an extra 1,000 a month that like changes their fucking life.
Their mindset, bro.
Wildly different feeling.
Yes.
And that feeling has bothered me so much since then. Like, I've been working on this program and launched it a couple times and pulled it down because something just wasn't right. And I launched it as high ticket, and I helped a few people on it in high ticket, but something was wrong. And then I launched it as an info product, but I know the stats of info products and completions. Something was wrong. And so I've redeveloped and rebuilt this program. Wrote a book about it because I was like, maybe people will do the book. And it's like, something's still not right. So the current iteration of it that we're going to start promoting here later this spring, later this summer, is digital course, one-on-one coaching, all of your software done for you, your entire GHL program and snapshot, automation, AI, workflows, all of the white paper, all your SOPs and guidelines provided to you, digital info product course for fulfillment, and the book. And we're selling it low ticket. It's going to be like $49 or $97 a month with a one-time initiation fee, or like $497 to buy. And the reason why I've gone from high ticket to MRR to low ticket and like barely any entry point is the entire fucking purpose of this program was, how do I help the people that don't have money, opportunity, or time change their circumstance? And I do not want finances to be the barrier. So to answer your question, what gets me the most fired up it's like, how do I translate what I get hired to on a daily basis by corporations, companies, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, or professionals? How do I help other people do that for themselves? That's what gets me fired up the most.
My answer on your behalf before you answered was the coaching consulting aspect. I didn't know you were going to take it to the low ticket to the average consumer, but I'm really glad you did. Because once you escape what I call the matrix of like out of the 9-to-5 rat race, working in corporate America and making money online, like being self-employed, like that changes your reality, your life, how you view the world. And I think that is probably more powerful than anything on this planet, is like helping someone realize, I don't want to sound cliche, but like their full potential, or helping someone realize that there's a whole nother life that they can live. Yeah. That is like, it's how they want to live, if that makes sense, you know? I'm really glad you brought that up. I do want to push back only for the sake of the podcast.
Do it.
Only for the sake of the podcast. But I have been told and taught that the more you pay attention.
That's true.
So because I have a very similar mindset as you, I would much rather sell low ticket to lower the barrier of entry. However, ticket size determines who the offer is for.
Correct.
And I know you're doing a good thing. I know you're doing a fantastic thing.
I already have my pushback on your pushback ready.
You already know what I'm going to say? Okay, great. Because there's this guy named Jeremy Haynes. He sells his course for like $5K. And there's so many haters like, dude, $5K for a course? Fuck you. Like, sell it for cheaper. And he's like, dude, the consumption rate, what you said earlier, the consumption rate, if it's anything but $5K, is horrible. It's like, why, from a consumer standpoint, why pay, 4 figures and not take action? Like, you're kind of dumb for that, right? But he's found the sweet spot is $5K. Now, have you thought? Oh, I guess you have already done that in the past, right? So
we still do. We have high ticket one-on-one programs. But I don't sell it as coaching. Like I'm not a self-proclaimed coach. We offer consulting and coaching as part of our programs.
Sure.
But that's more of an accountability, like ongoing tracking and analytics service. That's its primary purpose.
Gotcha.
And so let me give you kind of a 2 statistics here that play along with that. One agrees with you. So you're correct. The standardization of skin in the game is 100% fact. And throughout the last 10 years, we found that our sweet spot is between about $3,000 and $7,000, depending on what is being either taught, implemented, or executed on that. However, this is where the second statistic comes in, and this might just be our experience. I can't speak on anybody else's, but we found through that we've done about 174 custom developments, app, web, or AI, and we've had, I think, 2,500 clients throughout the 10 years approximately, right? Maybe closer to 3,000 now. Throughout that, the consensus between all of them is they're willing to pay more if they do less, and that increases consumption and completion. Okay. However, conversely to that, we found that you actually increase completion and consumption of any product, info product, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, etc., if accountability is tied to their result, not to a promise of result. And what I mean by that is I don't sell you, when you join Thoughts to Profits, when I launch that, I don't sell you the promise that you can start your own business, or that you're going to be a self-made millionaire, or you're going to change your life, or you're necessarily going to make any money.
Right.
What I'm selling you is I've done this and get hired to do this by clients weekly. For the last 10 years, we've worked with everybody from the mom and pop to the solopreneur that doesn't have their first client, all the way up to monolithic corporations. And what gets results is having the right system in place, the right offer structure in place, and the right monetization capability with tech enablement. The more tech enablement you have, and the more shit that's already done for you that's plug and play, the shorter that time window of consumption has to be. And then it's just accountability. So if you buy Thoughts to Profits for $500, I'm not particularly concerned about you completing it because it's already done for you. All you have to do is basically hit play and then follow along on those step-by-step instructions that are either in video, transcript, or in a book, and you get the result of possibly being able to add an extra 500,000, 2,000 a month, a quarter, a year, whatever you're looking to do. The promise is giving you accessibility to things that you don't think you have accessibility to, not a promise of necessarily gains. So the differentiation that we've found is skin in the game is important, but skin in the game is tied to what they have to execute on, not necessarily tied to the outcome they're looking for.
Okay, so essentially, if I'm understanding correctly, I'm willing to, as a consumer, I'm willing to pay more if it's 95% done for you. I essentially watch the consumables or read the consumables to essentially understand the philosophy behind what you're doing and why you're doing it. However, on a lower tier structure, let's just say it's $499, $49 per month. Everything is DIY with consumables across the board, like you said, and group coaching. I'm going to take less action as a consumer because I have to do a buckload of work. Is essentially what you're saying?
Here's a good example, and I don't think he's the best person to use this as an example for, but he's probably the most well known. Tate. Okay.
Sure.
His program, his coaching program, is like $30 a month.
Yeah, super cheap for sure. Yeah.
It's dirt cheap, but you have to do fucking everything. Like, he gives you jack shit nothing, right? He gives you information, right? It's very. He did a beautiful job at putting this together in a sense that's very Dan Henry-esque. Sell information and then sell execution as an upsell if you want it, right? The reason why that model has a 1 to 3% completion rate is because people don't have the attention span to be able to do it for themselves. Otherwise, they already would have, right? Let's be honest. There isn't a coach or professor or college or university or expert on the planet that has any more information than is already publicly available on there that you can find anywhere on Google, YouTube, your national library, your public library, your university library. The information's there. It's just about, are you going to execute on it, right?
And it comes down to the individual. Continue.
And it comes down to the individual. Now, what are the 3 triggers that primarily get somebody to take action? right?
Pain.
Avoid pain first and foremost. Second, experience pleasure. Or third, see actual change.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
A good
Yes.
example, the gym. Most
Yes,
people,
I was just thinking that, bro.
good example, the gym. Most people know they have to work out, but what's the trigger that typically gets somebody to continue it? They start noticing change,
I look good. I feel good.
right?
Yeah.
That's the one that gets most people to keep doing it, even if they hate the gym,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What's the thing that helps people change their lifestyle when they have a medical need? The doctor's like, shit, you're gonna die. Avoid pain, right?
Right.
And then what's the thing that typically gets somebody to change for the better in their daily life? Relationship that gets them pleasure. They find a woman they love. They find a man they love. They experience new things with new people. They gain pleasure that helps them avoid future pain, and they see change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those three levers are kind of the levers to all execution somewhere in your life.
Yeah.
So your buy-in on that doesn't necessarily have to be financial, right? But you do have to have skin in the game. What I'm suggesting with Thoughts to Profits isn't, is it going to be you have to spend so much money so that you have fear of losing money? It's, I don't want finances to be the fulcrum point where you make another excuse to not change your life because you don't have $2,000 or $5,000 or 10 grand. I want the lever to be you see change fast enough for you to actually quantify, oh shit, this now helps me avoid pain, gain pleasure, and see change. And I was just going to say, and if I provide you the websites, the software, the training, the accountability, the education, and the implementation guides so that literally you can do it in a day, the only thing that's holding you back from that is, do you want to do it? And no amount of money that you pay me is going to change that answer.
Amen. You're 100% right. Because, like you said, the information's already out there. Someone who is a hardcore, not do it yourselfer, but someone who takes action. Like, not to toot my own horn, but like, if I want something, I will fucking learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Period. I will find the fucking info out there and I will get it the fuck done. Was I always that way? It just depends on what I'm attempting to figure out. Right? Business, absolutely. I'm that guy. Getting back to low ticket, getting people through the front door and not having finances be an excuse, I think is a fantastic idea. The question I have for you from a profitability standpoint is, do you attempt to upsell those individuals into a higher, more intimate coaching consulting program? Or no back end offers?
We don't know. I want to be very clear here. This model for Thoughts to Profits, we have not fully launched.
Got it. Okay.
So we've only launched Thoughts to Profits and TIS as high ticket programs in the past, right?
Got it.
That's the current model that exists. That's basically the foundation of the company. The reason why I'm launching Thoughts to Profits as our first low ticket model is the point of that program was not profitability. The point of that program was to get back the feeling, the personal enjoyment, that foundation of what I felt and got out of helping 12 people replace their income and change their lives in a time that most people were freaking the fuck out. That was the purpose of the program.
I see.
If all I wanted to do was focus on profitability, I wouldn't even launch this program, quite frankly. Let's be honest, our average app development job is 50 to 250K. Our average development with funnel driven is 4 to 7,500. Our average client spends 2 to 5 grand a month on funnel driven services. Selling something for $250 or $500 or $97 a month or $297 a month isn't going to change my life. That's not the purpose of Thoughts to Profits. Now, is there opportunity that I see once we flush out and actually launch this program? We're going to do it probably on a webinar series to upsell them. 100%. There's going to be a lot of people that are like, hey, we did it, we launched it, I have a brand, I have a company, it's helping my local company, we're seeing results, but I just don't want to do it, that we can do it for them. 100%. I could see that as an upsell or a cross-sell or some kind of value ladder down the road. 100%. But is that the focal point of Thoughts to Profits and why we built it? No.
Okay. You said something earlier that reminds me of good old Alex behind me here. We give away all of the knowledge for free, and we essentially sell the implementation. Alex is such a savage because he has said this so many times. But he's like, I give away all of this information so you can make $1 million per year, and then I can invest into your company. Like
Yeah.
he's kind of a savage behind it. So I guess I want to propose the question because me specifically, I try to do everything with intention, and I also come from humble beginnings. I am very financially driven. So for me to just give away everything essentially for free or for super low ticket and almost lose money, maybe I'm really capitalistic like that, but that to me doesn't sit right. Like
Let me
there has to be an intention to make profit on the back end.
let
And I
me
understand they're different.
let me change your perspective.
Sure.
Okay? And this is one of the things that I've had to overcome too, because I am capitalistically driven, 100%. But there's one thing that caught my attention that I've seen Hermosi do, and I'll use Hermosi as an example, right? He's a PE bro in disguise, right?
Private equity, bro? Fucking yeah,
Yeah,
dog.
he took what Russell and Jay and basically all of the heroes of marketing have been preaching. Frank Kern, all of them, right? Jay Abraham, all of them. He took that and then translated the PE industry into something that the average person can understand and execute on. But at his core, he's private equity and venture capitalist. That's
Yes.
what he does, right?
Yes.
That is acquisitions.com. Okay? But he doesn't sound like a PE bro, right?
True. He's simplified.
And his business model is the newest rendition I'm going to give you an example of, and I'll give you another one after this before I kind of go into the perspective that I want you to kind of see where I'm coming from.
For sure.
His business model is, how do I create and engineer my future customer? Acquisitions.com takes equity for capital, investment, growth, and scale. But he doesn't have any customers if companies don't meet the threshold that are required to join acquisitions.com. What's the best way to make sure that a company meets his core values, his guidelines, and his requirements is to help John, who's a John Smith, go from here to here, right? Now he has a future customer.
On the back of his philosophies and methodologies, yes.
Exactly, that he's helped engineer, and he didn't earn money on this company for 10 years, but all of a sudden somebody he's poured into, whether he knew it or not, 10 years down the road, just did a deal with acquisition.com, and now it's a $50 million M&A, right?
Yes, and all that 10-year of making $0 made up for it tenfold
Exactly.
with the acquisition.
Now, the second thing that he does very well, and that people like Gary Vaynerchuk does, Bold Worldwide does very well, that all of these people, Frank Kern did very well when he was doing the 4-day email campaign, right? When that was his big push. The content that's displayed and the social proof that you can tie to yourself outweigh the fundamental implementation and expertise that you have. Because you could be the best at the world at something, and if nobody knows and can validate that, nobody gives a shit. Right?
Amen.
So if I invest into breaking even on something that takes very little time and energy for me to be able to package and sell to somebody who could implementally change their life to make an extra 1,000, 2,000, or 5,000 a month, by them leveraging what we package and provide them in the info product and the book that we support, and the maybe 15 or 30 minutes of my time to do a coaching session with them so that they can execute, and give them a pathway where now not only am I known as who I already am known as with funnel driven chimera developments, the inbound secret, and SBA, but now I'm helping people effectively become my future customer. I get social proof. I get a little bit of recurring revenue for our software program, AI Buddy, which is part of the Inbound Secret program and Thoughts to Profits. So we have a little bit of MRR. And now I have 1,000 case studies of people using our methodology, our SOPs, our guidelines, our structure to get a result that I didn't have anything to do with, but it's what we do for other clients. That's going to do what? 3 things. 1, people are going to pay me more because they see my name more. So clients that want it done for them know who to turn to. 2, the people that didn't have the opportunity to be a business owner, an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, they didn't know what they were doing. They were stuck in that mindset. I've helped fundamentally change their belief system or their life. And three, the people that have gone through that journey and successfully implemented, even if it's only 1 to 5% of them, at some point are going to need help doing it at scale. Who are they going to turn to?
And that is my point exactly. Thank you. Yes. That was basically my question of asking you, is there another intention, maybe hidden under multiple layers behind that? And I think, why not do that? Yes, I wholeheartedly know that you 100% want to help the GP, general population, make money online, escape the matrix, change their mindset, change their belief system, etc. Yes. I also think, why not have a back end offer, and my front end offer feeds my back end offer where true profit is made. And maybe I'm just more like blunt about it, or I don't want to say less caring because that's not true.
I don't think either of that's true. I think it's the differentiation of intent. I don't have intent of creating this program as a profit center.
It's the intent. You're right.
I have intent of leveraging opportunity 100%.
Okay.
But for a selfish reason, the core fundamental reason I've spent time to develop Thoughts to Profits, and it is a selfish reason, is I have yet to be able to recreate that feeling I got from helping those 7 to 12 people change their life in any other business venture, partnership, or client relationship I've had since.
Thank you. Just thank you for being candid about that. You have intention. It's just different intentions than how I might view it. And that's okay. That's okay. It's just interesting. Interesting to me that, well, you're just the fact that your perspective is different. And maybe I should be more like you opposed to being all about profits. You know?
I'm about profits too, but not for this offer. For the company, 100%.
I have to.
That's the purpose of any business.
Right.
The offer doesn't necessarily have to be. I'll give you an example of Costco, right? The CEO and one of the founding members of the board of Costco has been quoted multiple times as saying that he will kill whoever changes the price of the hot dog from $1.50.
Right? Love that guy.
Okay? That's a loss leader. That offer was not designed to make money. That offer is his fundamental core belief of why do we need to gouge somebody from being able to eat an affordable lunch. That's the intent of the $1.50 hot dog and soda combo. It always has been. It's why it used to be outside of Costco and any laborer could go up and get one for $1.50 and eat it right in front of their store, right? The business is to make money from the opportunity of people that are in the location or on their property. And yes, that loss leader helps them do that, but it wasn't the intent of selling the hot dog for $1.50 to then upsell them to something else. It's the opportunity that creates.
I see what you're saying.
Does that make sense?
It 100% does. It 100% does. I do have a separate question outside of the business model between low ticket and high ticket, which I definitely do enjoy this, by the way. But talk to me about inbound secrets. I assume it's about inbound marketing, but can you elaborate on that?
So everything we do is inbound. So Funnel Driven's core methodology is called the inbound model. We call it the inbound secret. Primarily because I'm fundamentally bad at keeping my attention on outbound. I don't enjoy it, so I don't do it long term. I know it works. We have outbound partners. We have staff specifically to do outbound for our clients, but I don't enjoy it, so it's not what I built the company's foundation on. At core, we excel at leveraging technology, AI implementation, and web development to systematically increase results from inbound marketing. So media buying. When I run a Facebook ad, how do I convert more, like an e-com store? Average e-com store conversion rate's 1 to 3%, right? Our average e-com client is 5 to 12%. What makes the difference? Technology implementation and AI systemization inside of their tech stack, and offer creation and market penetration with systematic affinity and intent markers to be able to increase conversion on inbound marketing. That's what we're good at. So the inbound secret was literally just created on how do I teach what we already do, and how do I make sure that the clients that come in understand what we're doing so that they keep doing it long term.
I think that's really important for the prospect or your potential new client here to actually understand the mechanism, the reasoning, the philosophy behind we're doing said thing. I feel like it's, as a business owner, it's ignorant to hand the keys to your castle to somebody else and not understand how the fuck the castle is being ran. You know,
Yeah.
and this is your business. This is your castle, dude, and you're just giving that shit away. Like, no, understand what's going on in the business. And I think this does two things. One, it makes you more competent. So when you identify this campaign is working, I understand why it's working. Or this campaign is not working. I understand why it's not working. Opposed to saying, Bryce, what are you guys doing? This shit's not working. Or Bryce, keep it up, man. This shit freaking rocks. But it's like you can't even have a back and forth conversation at a very high level if said business owner doesn't even know what's going on with the company or with the marketing aspect, you know?
Well, and with so much noise in the marketplace, right? Like we've talked about what the average agency, web development or marketing agency is putting out for their clients, which is atrocious, first and foremost. But with so much noise in the marketplace, the average business owner thinks that it comes down to one of 100 different things that could be the lever that's turning their business. And there's only three core elements to a successful marketing campaign. It doesn't matter if you're Netflix, if you're Pepsi, if you're fucking John Smith AC, if you're selling an info product at home, if you're selling toasters on Amazon. Doesn't matter. There are three elements. How do you package your offer so that it's useful, unique, urgent, and ultra specific to your audience and their need? Two, what is the actual sales process and evolution of that opportunity? Once the intent is found and you identify an opportunity, how do you capture it and convert it into an actionable opportunity and then sell them so that they become part of your ongoing company, your culture? And then three, what is the tech enablement you're using to facilitate doing that at scale? That's it. If you have the right offer, you're targeting the right people, and you have the right tech, it does not matter what you sell. And if something's not working, it is one of those three things.
Which one do you feel like is the most important out of those three things?
Offer, 100% offer.
Right, right. People have to fucking want what you're selling.
I mean, tech does all of the heavy lifting. Like, it's what buys back your time and facilitates, like, a smooth customer experience. But you could have the worst fucking targeting on the face of the planet. If you have a solid fucking offer, it's gonna work.
For sure. Absolutely, absolutely. Let's see. I do wish we had more time. We'll end on this note here. Looking back over your 10-year career, being self-employed and owning several companies, what is one thing you wish you knew when you first got started?
Let go of your ego, 100%. The As an entrepreneur or business owner, I find myself doing this quite frequently throughout my career, and I notice clients do it all the time. We have this belief that we have to control or manage or facilitate the outcome, and we think that it's because it's our baby, we know better. Just because, I'll give you an example. You're a roofer, okay? And I have this conversation with probably 60% of our roofing clients when they onboard, right? The most common feedback we get is, I don't want to do that. I don't think it'll work. Well, if what you thought would work worked, we wouldn't be on this fucking call, okay?
Right.
I'm not suggesting that you break your core values or you do anything uncompliant. But a lot of the times your ego is what's holding you back and you don't recognize it because you believe you have to be part of something. If you can let go of your ego and actually absorb feedback and recommendations from other parties, success leaves clues. Like, follow the clues, right? And a lot of the times your ego gets in the way of doing it.
I cannot agree more, bro. You said that so freaking perfectly. You have to always be learning, especially in business, right? Especially when things are constantly adapting and things are constantly changing. Getting back to the roofing example, it's like, yeah, dude, like if you thought your shit was gonna work, we wouldn't even be here right now. So how about, like, you paid us for a third party's perspective? Like, you should listen, you know? I love that. I love that. Last question here. Where can they find you, Bryce?
Easiest place right now, if you want to kind of see everything, is brycevance.info. I actually have a new site coming out that is about.brycevance.info that you'll be able to check out here shortly. I don't think it's propagated yet. But that has a link to pretty much everything. It's just a quick lander. And then anything that you're looking at for, like, development-wise, drivenroi.com is our core. It links to all of our sister and child companies. It has all of the information. I'm super transparent. Like, I'm a no bullshit guy. So, like, if you want to know pricing, you want to know testimonials, you want to see case studies, you want to see our process, it is all on that website.
I love it. I love it. Bryce, it was a pleasure having you on, my man. Thanks for the conversation. Thanks for the laughs. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, it was good to be on, man. I had fun.
Yes, sir. Audience, we'll talk to y'all soon.